Alright, so today I'm going to be tying the Pass Lake, which is a popular fly for fishing for brook trout on the Brew River, among other streams here in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota. It's pretty similar to a Royal Coachman streamer, something along those lines you can see, but a little different, so I'm going to tie the Pass Lake for you. So to get started, I'm going to be tying on a Mustad 3366, and that's in a size 6. And the thread I'll be using is Danville's 210 denier, and that's in a bright orange color. So you can just get your thread on, put down a layer of thread over the shank of the hook. You just want to go back to just before the bend of the hook. Then you're going to grab your golden pheasant tip. You can buy either a complete head or just the tips themselves. And you want to just kind of squeeze that. You'll see one side is dull, one side is real bright orange. Put the bright orange side up, kind of squeeze that feather around the shank of the hook, and then what I'm going to do is just a couple of thread turns and then pull that while keeping it kind of wrapped around the shank of the hook, and then you should end up with the bright orange all the way around instead of seeing the dull colors. So and then you can go ahead and just tighten that up, trying to keep it kind of towards the top of the shank. Trim this about 1/8 of an inch back from the eye of the hook. That'll give you room to make your head. So go ahead and clean that up a bit. And then you're going to want to tie in your ribbing, which is going to be a oval tinsel. This is just the size 14 by Danville's. So you can go ahead and just lay that on the top of the hook shank, catch it in, and go ahead and wrap back. Alright. And now what we're going to be doing for our body is just, you can use peacock curl. I like to use ice dub in a peacock color. So we're going to dub a fairly thick body on this fly. And don't worry too much if some of your orange thread is showing through. I think of it more as kind of an attractor pattern, so I don't get too worked up about that. Orange, I think, will just kind of help the pattern. So do this just a little bit at a time here. Offer that up to the shank there, and just start wrapping forward. And like I said, you're going to want this to be a pretty thick body. And when you're fishing this fly, most people like to, I guess, either swing it through deep holes or by undercuts, under overhanging brush. Otherwise, you can, and I've had luck with the Royal Coachman streamers doing this, is go ahead and cast downstream, and then just nice short abbreviated strips coming back upstream with it, and that really seems to entice the fish and get them biting. And I think we're going to need just a bit more here. Like I said, kind of like this, nice and bushy. That should be good. And just kind of peel back any fibers that are pointing forward and just kind of build a little bit of a head shape. Kind of form the foundation for the hair wing that you're going to tie on. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a half hitch. And use my rotary feature here to wrap my rib forward. And you know, you can play around with how many wraps you do with this ribbing. It doesn't need to be a ton. You can kind of wrap pretty far apart on this fly. So I mean, if you get like 5 or 6 wraps, that's pretty good. Alright. Just a thread wrap or 2 to kind of lock that in place. And then what I like to do with this stuff, you can go ahead and clip it long, and I like to take my dubbin needle, come in here and pick at it a little bit and fray that, get the tinsel off of there, and then kind of fray the cord that's underneath a little bit, and then clip it off real short, and that'll help prevent any big bumps as you finish off this fly. Okay, so now we're going to take our white calf hair, trim off a little bit of this, and then stick that in a stacker, and that's what's going to be our hair wing. So I've already lined up a few. And you don't need this, it can be pretty sparse on there. You don't want too much material in your wing. And basically you want to measure this so that your wing comes just back to the back of the hook. And go ahead and trim that off. Offer it up to the top there. And then with a thread wrap, just come in, cinch that down nice and tight. Okay, so now I'm ready to go ahead. Last thing for this fly is putting on a soft hackle feather. So I'm just going to go ahead, and this is just a speckled brown hen saddle hackle. So go ahead and just kind of take away the fluffy stuff, and then leave yourself just a little barb to tie on. Go ahead and cinch that down. So you're going to want to take your soft hackle, and I'm going to use hackle pliers because these feathers are so short. You're going to go ahead and just kind of fold the fibers back a little bit over the quill of the feather there. Just kind of take your time as you wrap this, and you should really only need one good wrap around this fly to hold it. Go ahead and kind of put a 90-degree bend in your feather there. Come around and catch that in. Then hold your hold your thread tight. Go ahead and just give a yank, and that should just break right off for you. It looks like a mess, but if you just kind of stroke those fibers back, they'll form that nice soft hackle collar on there for you. Then just go ahead and take a couple of thread wraps right over the top of those. That'll hold them pointing back. Okay. Now just basically you want to make sure you smooth out the head on this fly. And you might end up, as you stroke this, you might end up with a few loose calf fibers, but that's alright. Just clear those away. Okay. Thread's kinda splitting on me here. Alright. And then go ahead and give it a few whip finishes. So 1, 2, and 3 should be plenty. And pull that tight. And then clip off your thread, and that's pretty much your finished fly. Now with flies like this that have a bigger head on them, what I like to do is finish that with a little bit. This is just Sally Hansen's Insta-Dried, and this is actually just a clear coat. This is like a nail polish, basically. I like this. I like these because they have a nice brush. Makes it really easy to apply. Just go ahead and go around the fly, putting a good coat on there. You just want to be careful that you don't get this into your soft hackle fibers. You want those to swim nice in the water as you're fishing it. So that's basically the fly right there. Once that dries, which won't take too long, it dries pretty quick. So yeah, go ahead, give this fly a try, and I hope it catches you fish.